What is up? What is up? YouTube. How y'all doing, man? Check it out. Without a doubt, man, I am learning. This is not this is not working out. Part 2, man. This is part 2. Secrets in Hollywood or leaks parties. P. Diddy. Oh my goodness. Nature Eva. Anyway, part 2, and he's telling the story of how storytelling is so important with running any of these YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and all that type of stuff. And I'm very intrigued, man. This is very interesting because I'm running a YouTube course, and in the YouTube course, I need to teach this. So this is very, very important to me. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you didn't see part 1, go watch part 1 first and then come back and check out part 2, because this is some juicy information, man, that will change your life. Trust me when I tell you that. So without any further ado, let's check this bad boy out.
But it's like, I won't even follow him. I don't care.
Right.
I don't even have time for an argument.
You also know you could destroy him too because you're good at jujitsu.
I haven't trained in a while.
Isn't it crazy how insecure you feel?
Person do to me that is going to get me out of the happiness that I'm in.
Okay.
They can't. There's nothing you could do. If you try to hit me, that's it. Like, I'll handle it, but it's like, I won't even follow up. I don't care.
Right.
I don't even have time for an
You
argument.
also know you could destroy him too because you're good at jujitsu.
I haven't trained in a while.
Isn't it crazy how insecure you feel on a mat? Where like if you take off a month, you're back on mind like, oh fuck, I don't know anything.
You train a lot consistently, right?
Now pretty consistent.
No,
yeah.
all my friends are really good.
Yeah.
You know, like one of my best friend, Ebro, he's a black belt. He's a freak. He's so good. So he messes me. I feel him. I'm like, I am rusty, and he got good. You know, so
it's a shitty feeling.
But it's I gauge that through my friends who are fighting for one championship, who are black belts, who teach classes in big schools. So I know I'm all right, but like to your average guy. But I feel rusty. Like I tell him, like, dude, my shoulder's hurting. I feel like I can't throw a good right. Like I don't want somebody to come up with this. I can't throw a bomb.
But then you realize like you go to the bar, you're like, all right, these would be like toddlers trying to fight me.
I've been sober for 5 years.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that?
Family. And like it's you know what I'm saying?
You had it hereditary.
Yeah, I just didn't want that in my life. You know, like every sad part of my life, the core of it was substance abuse and the adults around me. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, oh, very clear sign that that's not what you don't do.
Was it in your own house?
Sometimes I love my parents. They gave me a house to, you know, they did everything. I have nothing bad to say about my parents. Love them. They supported me. I saw in some places that we had to live out of financial reasons. I saw things when I was young that were not good, you know? And now once I was at an age where I was like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go to a bar. I haven't been to a bar in 5 years. All I do is train and do this.
We're going to take you to one in a couple hours.
That's fine. I've eaten at a bar. I've eaten at a bar.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I don't go to a pub for food. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I haven't went out to a bar in 5 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I like the way my life is set up. I like training. I like being at home. I cook a lot actually. I really like cooking. I like living my life the way I like to live my life. I like to feel good. I like to train hard, and I like to tell good ass stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Imagine trying to tell a story hungover. It would
No,
be
yeah,
terrible.
dude.
No. It's also
I can't make content hungover.
yeah.
No way.
Like all I wanted as a kid was an adult that was there for me every time. And so I just want to be that. You know, like you meet the same person every time. When I worked at jiu-jitsu schools, these people are coming to here for, this is a consistent thing in my life. I want to be a pillar for that person.
Yeah.
So if you come near me, you're getting the same me every single time. You know what I'm saying? And it carries over into every part of our life. You know, I try to be the best partner I can to her. I'm the same person every single day. And I just try to do that. And I've been doing it for 5 years. And on the 5-year mark, I got my 100K subscriber. On the same day I quit drinking, 5 years later, I got 100. I got the plaque in the middle.
Oh, good for you, man.
It's
That's
weird.
awesome.
Cool.
It's weird. It was a weird day. Because I'm like, this is the day I quit 5 years ago. And I made it today.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's weird, right?
When was that?
September 12th, my birthday.
Good for you.
Yeah. And it came in on my birthday. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the universe lining up.
Yeah.
And what.
Yes.
But I keep on burying the lead on coming to some of your videos right here. Can we pull up his channel, Leslie?
Yeah.
I want to take a look at this one. I mentioned it earlier because
Look at that brand. That's all my designing right there.
yeah, it's good, man. I like it. Click the popular and then click the party I wish I never went to. Which is
That's
starting
what
to blow
I'm
up
watching
right now.
Yeah,
I noticed
it's
that.
picking up now.
Like I watched it 2 days ago. It was at
That's
like
what I'm
90,000
watching
views.
now.
Yeah, I upped the SEO. I've been learning SEO and
It's
stuff.
at 2 million views now.
Look at that fresh shaved face.
Channel. I encourage you to like and subscribe if you want, right? It helps me. If it helps me, it helps you. The more it helps me, the more stories I can get to you. So liking and subscribing, just absolutely backflip onto that subscribe button if you don't mind. This story I dropped a few months ago and it didn't get any traction when I initially started dropping it. And then it started to blow up on Facebook a month later after I had already abandoned it and moved on. But a lot of people demanded another part. So this is going to be the full story of the society with an extra.
This is hard to watch for me, by the way.
I'm so happy people
You're doing great.
started enjoying it.
Nah, that's me. It's hard to watch my own videos. Story boy.
So this story is the reason I stopped making content for 5 years. You guys remember when all those Vine stars and skit Instagrammers moved to LA in like 2015?
Wow.
So I wasn't a huge creator
That's
at the time, but I
crazy.
was there and around it all as all of that stuff.
I
was
bought
happening.
this.
See, bro, I watched this and I watched this and I go, I got so
$2,000
much
in my
better.
pocket that I saved up working.
Then this video.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
video is so good.
Look
though.
where he paused it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is you at the
Little
Steak
bow
and
tie.
Shaker. What was it called?
Steak and Shake. I was a
It was
waiter at
Steak
Steak
and
and Shake. I was drive-through at Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
That's
Is
crazy.
that when you fell in love with him?
I'm
Yeah.
watching that
No, we
video
met a year
now.
ago.
It's like, I didn't mean that.
I was making a joke.
Oh my bad. Just over my head.
She's like, hell no.
Yeah, that bow tie. Some. All right, go ahead. Is it on?
It's the mouse. Come on.
At Steak and Shake with this other aspiring creator named David. I was much more into editing and being behind the camera at that time, and he was much more into Vine and vlogs and being on camera. That time of our lives was absolutely crazy. Everybody was broke, posting anything we could onto YouTube to get some attention. I happened to get a spot at the now notorious 1600 Vine apartments.
Lie.
You lying son of a bitch.
I was collaborating with everyone, and it was the era of clickbait YouTube. And to be honest, it was extremely fun for the first few months. Until Hollywood started to notice that influencers were the next big thing, and that the landscape of the industry was changing. And we started to get invited to more exclusive parties and events, where it seemed as if old Hollywood was almost grooming new Hollywood. And there was rumors of this one gathering that was happening on a monthly basis, where it seemed like anybody that got invited saw a massive jump in their numbers, secured huge brand deals right after attending. But apparently this gathering worked on a buddy system. Someone had to vouch for you and bring you as a guest.
This is
and
all
by
fake.
blind luck, me and David ended up getting invited. Some talent agents saw me and David shoot a silly skit at a random party. He didn't invite us that second. He just told us that he saw something special in us and took our contact information. And listen, people do that all
Should've
the
known
time
right
in LA,
there.
but this guy had a different.
Yeah. So just to give you a breakdown of this concept, if you just want an idea of like with the reason of the narrative. So I didn't blatantly say that that's David Dobrik. Me and David Dobrik are from the same area in Chicago, and I
catching
applied
it now.
You're catching it now, right?
Yeah.
So like everything is very calculated in these. Like I put breadcrumbs in it for people to come to their own conclusions. You know what I'm saying? This story goes into like they bring us to it follows like the Dante's Inferno. Each room is each room is
I've never read that. Like Worse and Worse.
it's 7 layers of hell basically, right? So first one is limbo, second one is gluttony, third one is greed, fourth one is anger, and so on, right? And the last ones are like treachery and violence and stuff like that, or anger, treachery, and whatever. So each room that you go into, everybody is so bought into the concept of this next room. And the first one, I just imply it by saying, yeah, there's like A-list celebrities here and they're like really into playing limbo. And I'm acting like I don't understand what's happening, but I'm implying that this is the limbo room. And the next one goes in and there's a big feast and these A-list are like shoving food in their mouth, like disgusting. And I go, what is up with these people? This is gross. These people are horrible. And the next room is, it's like the sexual one. What's that one? Lust. And then that's where it starts to get a little bit flirty. People are doing like that type of stuff. But I say I'm
All
too
behind the masks.
Exactly. I say I'm a little bit too young. This is making me uncomfortable. They're flirting with me too much. But David is loving this attention, right? And he starts buying into this concept. And the whole concept is that this party is a slow drip into treachery. And in treachery, you have to go and do what they say that you have to do, like the horrible Hollywood things. Like as far as go ahead.
Had you heard stories like this? Not necessarily the same thematics that you came up with the details, but had you heard from people you know some things that happen in Hollywood?
Only on like what you hear, like on podcasts and things of that nature, like the Cat Williams shit, and then like you see like how Diddy.
They were coming in and they were just getting freaky in that back room. That shit was
You see the one where he's like, they all have the same ugly white wife? You seen that one? I was like, that's just crazy.
Listen, the dude's fucking funny. Real or not, the dude's fucking hilarious.
They're pulling up screenshots of dudes' wives. I'm like, that's the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen.
That's so nuts, bro.
I knew Baphomet was a trans 30 years ago.
So yes, there's layers of that, but then it's my sister actually. My sister has been a waitress at Freemasons parties. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. But
That's all you can say?
Yeah. Okay. But she was like, you should do it like this because at these parties they do it like this. Yeah. So, but her, like, these aren't bad dudes. They're like really like low level.
No, they're just great.
What is the Freemason?
It's a secret. This Freemason, and we looked at like everything we do. We research. So
I can tell.
Yeah. So Freemasonry is a secret society. It's the oldest secret society known. Right. So, and you have to go through initiations, but there's like levels to like Freemasons. Basically, it's a bunch of men that come together, everybody pools money, and then the leaders go, you go do this and run this business out of this big pool of money. We're going to open this, and you're going to be the manager and face of this. And they run cities based that way. So it's like dudes come together, and they pool money, and they...
It's like the mob.
Yes.
Yes, but they try to legalize it in a way, but it's not.
Yeah. Similar to Scientology, honestly. Really? But Freemasonry... Yeah.
All right, let's not...
Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. Like, it's pooling of money, and then they assign you something. Yes. And then there's secret handshakes and there's secret initiations and things of that nature.
Are they violent?
Bro, there's a Freemason temple a block away from our old studio. And I was like, hey, we should like maybe ask somebody outside. Then we decided against it. And then we were like, we probably shouldn't do this video until we move away from the studio.
Why? Will they get violent towards you if you're not?
I don't know. You
might wake up to like a dead bird on your pillow or some shit.
Just to like warn you a little bit.
Have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut, the movie?
No.
It was 99. It was Stanley Kubrick's last movie. So he goes to finish the main edit and dies. Now he was a fossil. He was old. He was like 70 or some shit. But dies of a heart attack conveniently. It was Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. And the plot is around, see that guy with the mask, the gold mask right there? Let's click that one, Alessi, down. Right there, yeah. That's Tom Cruise, right? And he's wearing like a masquerade mask. What happens is he lives in New York City, and I forget how it goes down, but he ends up being invited to this secret party at some fucking big-ass estate in Westchester County. It's dark, backwoods, the whole bit. He goes in, and all these people are wearing these weird masks and fucking each other.
Yeah.
And then he ends up getting like demasked there because he does something. I forget what it is. I'm not going to go through the whole plot, but like they end up following him around and like torturing his life, and it's like this secret like sex society or whatever. And so they say like, oh, did Kubrick get murked because he made like the Hollywood movie? I mean, the guy was Kubrick was also like trying to be sketchy. Like he filmed it at like the Rothschild mansion in like London. Yeah, like he was trying to be like this. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go through all this.
See, what's funny? Like I don't get into like any of the conspiracy theories, or I don't go down rabbit holes at all.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you start telling stories like this, I'm like, oh, I get it. I can sit here and start going,
I've been to that party.
You know, like, I can hear about, like, I hear this. I'm like, well, tell me more. I'm like, oh, Rothschild. I've heard the name. Like, what's the story behind them? And
I think that whole thing's crazy. But
you want to know some
it was
crazy
Kubrick
shit?
Trying to be like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to put this in there too.
Yeah.
You want to know some crazy shit?
Of course I do. You're here.
My mom's elementary school or middle school, I forget, is the building that was gifted to Jeffrey Epstein. She went to that school. I swear.
The apartment here.
Yes. My mom went to that school. I swear, dude. That was gifted to him. He was gifted.
The Macy's apartment on 71st.
Whatever apartment that is that used to be a middle school is where my mom went to middle school. Sorry, my Zin slip.
When people come into town, I take people there.
Yeah.
I'm like the tour guy. I'm like, well, here it is.
I swear.
We get the Danny Jones picture. He put it up.
Yep.
And that.
But so this one, I go to this thing and there's the rooms keep escalating, and I basically take the part of like I'm not doing any of it, and the agent that invites me comes up and says, a slow drip is better than a flood. And he's saying you start here and you do every single room. So when it gets to treachery, you did the slow drip. It's not going to feel like anything. So if you don't engage in the activities of every room, he knows you're not going to do it. And the room before treachery, there's a line, and they have every single holy book, Bible, Quran, and so on. And they say, which one is yours? And they put the book out, they put a symbol on the front of it, and they say, repeat these lines after me. I am my own God. I bow to nobody but myself.
Wait, I'm sorry. What is this?
This is in the story.
This is your fake story.
Yeah.
All fake.
Yeah, all fake.
Where the fuck did you come up with this? I don't know. I was like, wait, am I have to repeat this to
Jess
somebody
is
else?
sitting back there going,
Bro,
Wow,
it's
that's insane.
It's about the lines. I'm telling you, like when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what would be the creepiest shit if someone says, holds you your book, the one that you believe in, the one
that was so good.
like the one that you're like, I live by this. I live by this book. And they say, put your hand on it and say, I bow to no God. I bow to nobody but myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And basically what you're saying is you're pulling away your attachment to God, and whatever happens in this room, you're willing to do because you bow to nobody but yourself. So you're willing to do.
You want to buy the way I took it. Tell me if I'm right or wrong here. Is that it's like you want the fame, you want the things that come with it. You're gonna worship the money, which is us.
I am the false idol.
Right.
It's me. It's I have no connection to anything else that is higher than me. It's me. Anything that I do in this world, in this life, has no consequences. And doing that frees you from the burden of those consequences.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the biggest issue with society nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm an
Here we
atheist. I can do
go.
whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. Exactly. And they're out of touch.
There's my boy Danny Jones when he was here in August. I took him to Epstein's.
Funny.
We were just standing there, and we're standing across the street, and he's just watching people, like bike by and shit, walk by. He's like, "Do these people know what this is?"
So knock on the door.
No, they don't know what it is.
Inside, knock on the door.
But it's such a you haven't been there? I take it?
No.
It's creepy. It's very weird. Like it's
imagine.
I'm like
'Cause
used
you
to
know.
it, but you're
This
like,
was his
damn,
apartment?
there's some history that happened there, and it wasn't good.
Imagine being my mom knowing she went to grade school.
I
there.
know.
This was his apartment?
Yeah, so this was the apartment in New York. He had 6 places, right? So he had New York, he had Palm Beach, he had that commune in Ohio. What the hell was it called? What's the name of that town?
I'm not sure.
It's the place that like Wexner built. It's really rich. And then he had the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. He had the island in fucking the Caribbean. And then he had an apartment in Paris. And then I guess Guylaine had some apartment in London. But this place, to your point, creepily enough, was a little girl's school before he had it. And it was originally built for the founder of Macy's, but before it was finished, he died. So then the school, it was turned into a school. School gets bought by Les Wexner. Les Wexner then puts it into some estate or whatever and transfers ownership to Epstein, I think in 96, but he started living there in like 92. And then he did what he did in there. And this, like, I've shown you the Google Maps of it. You see all the townhouses next to it, and you think they're all like, oh, they're all big too. They're all similar size, and they are big. His goes all the way back, though. Like, it goes all the way. Like, theirs is like, I'm going to make up square footage right now.
Yeah.
Theirs is 10,000 square foot. His is 28,000 square foot or whatever. I think it's more than that. But, like, it's just such a creepy fucking place.
How do you know all this?
I mean, I've been there, my guy.
They don't write that on the door.
No, but you can, but you Google it and you're like,
No,
oh, this is
the
what
entire
it looked
story. You just how do you know all that?
There's some documentaries.
like. Epstein,
and stuff.
there's a lot. I'll show you.
All right, after. Thanks, man.
Inside of that apartment, above a fireplace, and correct me if I'm wrong about the placement of it, he had a portrait of George Bush throwing airplanes at
I don't
towers.
remember where the placement was, but he
Stop.
did have that portrait. Yes,
Like
There's 2 paper airplanes at towers.
Almost like,
Before 2001.
Well, we think he had it after.
yeah, but it was almost like the feeling you get from it is like he had this in here displayed in his apartment as if he had blackmail on him.
Yeah, and
It was almost
also-
like a flex.
And then the other one there, unless you see the Bill Clinton one, this one we know was hanging like right in there when you walk in. He had Bill Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress pointing at you.
Nah, that's crazy.
Right? like, if that's not
nuts.
like, I own you, bitch, like,
Nah,
my
that's so
God.
nuts. Wait, go back to George.
What? Wait a minute.
As if he had blackmail on him.
Yeah. And
It was almost
also-
like a flex.
And then the other one there, unless you see the Bill Clinton one, this one we know was hanging like right in there when you walk in. He had Bill Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress pointing at
Nah,
you.
that's crazy.
Right? like, if that's not
nuts.
like, I own you, bitch, like,
Nah,
my
that's so
God.
nuts. Wait, go back to George Bush one.
Yeah, this is that.
Where are
it's
the
kinda
where are the
funny.
twin towers in this?
They're the Jenga.
How crazy is that?
Who painted these?
Actually, we know who it is. Click the New York Post one. That it says that the one right to the right. Yeah. It says the name of the artist in this. Mike Spear and me pulled this up in 2021. Go down. what's the name of her? A woman who visited Epstein. Damn it. Wait, go up.
This one right here.
Go up, Alessi.
Katrina, right?
Yeah, Patrina Ryan Klett. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and he would go pick up young girls around art shows and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just he was a sick
I got to dive into more Epstein.
Yes.
I have another one for you.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you ready? I'm into this stuff. I'm a
can
story
tell.
guy, but I'm into this stuff. I don't talk about it anymore. But a lot of the old content, my YouTube shorts don't perform well because I did an in-depth breakdown of Hunter Biden. And since then, they do not perform well because I did it short form onto YouTube.
That's
about
so
Hunter.
interesting that you guys both deal in a space where like you fear getting shut down because of saying
He's
dumb
making
shit.
drinks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never had that happen.
I respect him because he's continued down that road. That happened to me, and I was like, oh, so they actually do this. Yeah. And I did a big breakdown of Hunter Biden and like have you seen the tattoos on his back? That was the freakiest part to me.
What is it?
No.
Oh, he has tattoos on his back of the Finger Lakes. And if you look up the Finger Lakes, look up Hunter Biden Finger Lakes tattoo, and then they show where it is demographically.
Come on.
And that apparently is a hub for human trafficking around those lakes.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Full sense of that.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
What?
Was I not supposed to say that?
No, you can say whatever you want.
Okay,
but like,
okay.
is that real?
I don't know. I mean,
That
we're
sounds
looking at the same thing, a selfie of him.
That's a hub for. That's where they're doing human trafficking in the middle of the country.
Maybe I went down the wrong rabbit hole.
I feel like they'd be taking them to the Port of Elizabeth. Like that's a lot
That's
more.
up north, though, dude. That's
you know.
near New York.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bring them right across the Atlantic. No one knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually went to a wedding in New Jersey in a really odd, sketchy, rich area that I was like, wow, this is weird. I forget exactly where it was, but it was years ago. But I remember being there. I'm like, this is really beautiful here. This is for the hyper rich, but there's oddly not many people around, on these estates and around these lakes. But that just because I'm conspiracy minded.
Why did he get that tattoo?
I don't know. That's actually the first I'm hearing about that. Unless he's right on it. Finger Lakes, human trafficking. Okay. Explore the secret tunnels network underneath. Son of a bitch.
Wow.
There you go.
Click that first one. The travel.
Here we go.
That seems like
I love where this podcast went.
You thought we were talking about stories. I watched a little bit of your content. I knew where I was going.
All right, explore the secret tunnels. All right, go up, Alessi. I want to read the actual. Explore the secret tunnels network underneath Finger Lakes. What happens in the dark passages underneath the Finger Lakes? Take a tour of the tunnels and find out. All right, now go down.
Oh,
Finger
shucks.
Lakes region played an important role in the Underground Railroad. That's interesting. So that was it started positive, took a wrong turn. Provided safe passage for enslaved people to escape to Canada in the 17th to 19th centuries. During Prohibition, the Finger Lake tunnels were used to smuggle alcohol into the United States, also positive, making the region a hotspot for speakeasies and rum running from 1920 to 33. While there are rumors and conspiracy theories about illegal activities happening in the Finger Lakes tunnels today, access to them is private and recommended for exploration due to not recommended for exploration due to safety and security. You're gonna be down there with a fucking flashlight saying, "So our next story." Do you hear a little scream in the background?
Dude, the amount of views.
So it is claimed that there are secret tunnels, prohibition, yada. Okay, go down. Keep going. This is history. That's boring. Go down. Let's get to the good stuff. Finger Lake tunnels today.
This seems too positive to say anything about.
There are theories that trafficking goes on below the Finger Lakes. Yeah. Watchdog groups monitor the area, sometimes to no avail. Sometimes I do feel like what would be obvious is actually never where they do it. Right?
Yeah.
Like
I just thought you'd like the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that a real tattoo? He has that?
Yes.
So crazy.
How crazy is that?
That's sketchy, man.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that was some biblical shit when he started porking the wife of his brother. Like, you're a little off if you're doing that.
Did you watch all of the videos that they released to him?
Wow.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, they're hilarious.
Bro, I swear you're gonna. You are gonna think I'm lying to your face. He walks up into
We
a
actually
corner.
can't show these because they all have drugs in them.
We can watch them.
Not on camera.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We should. We shouldn't do those. We shouldn't do those. But
We'll show you after.
this is all you need to know. Imagine he's a TikToker setting up his phone to hit a TikTok dance. But what he's actually doing is propping it up in the corner, ass naked, going into a sensory deprivation take, hitting a crack pipe and laying down.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the meme? The meme that says like normal people when they go to drink. Hunter Biden whenever he goes to do crack and it's got like 1,000 GoPros on.
Yeah, I did see that. What a fucking weirdo.
He's, you know what?
Yeah, but
It's very sad because he is a full blown. I mean, it's a known. It's been a known thing for a long time. He's a horrible addict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll get away from this. One of our stories I am planning. I don't know the whole narrative of it yet, but you're gonna know what it's about when I tell you the setting, and we don't really have to go into it too much.
Let's give a preview. Come on.
Yeah, we're exploring the northwest side of the country, Washington kind of area, just in that area, and we come across an odd gathering in the woods that has an owl statue.
Oh. Yeah. Bohemian Grove. You start Friday. I go to Bohemian Grove all the time. It's fucking great. I love it. It's not that bad.
I just looked up Bohemian Grove only because Ryan Garcia is going off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I think is all fake.
Yeah,
but,
it's fake.
I mean, I feel for the guy. He probably has CTE. He looks like he's all fucked up now. He's probably on drugs. But do I think
That's it. That's the owl though.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how I could fit that into a narrative where we come across, but it's very similar to the society, so I have to figure out something else with it.
What is this though? This is real.
I mean, depends who you ask. You ask Richard Nixon, he's going to give you an interesting quote, or you ask people that go, they're like, oh, we go there, we do plays, we drink and have fun.
Right.
It's a nice men's club.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some secrets of the world, in those types of places, Yeah,
we just did one that's dropping on Wednesday. It's not finished, but it's going to drop Wednesday about us, me and Sam, actually, me and my boy Sam, doing the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, and there's some trail angels that are acting a little bit. You know what? You know what a trail angel is? A trail angel
from Jersey.
Yeah.
Been on 2 hikes in my life.
Yeah. A trail angel is usually, if I were to generalize it, is an older woman that likes to do trails, that wants to be very kind to people that she passes, and she gives them food and drinks. That's usually
like the plot of Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, something like that.
Kinda. And when you're like active, like you do trails a lot, people give you like trail names and stuff. So you have like an alter ego when you go onto the trails, and people are nice, and there's trail angels that give out gifts. But we painted these 2 trail angels as like, man, they're a little bit odd, and they're acting a little bit too euphoric, and they look like they're on a party drug. The way that they're looking around, the way that they're like touching, and like they're not regular trail angels, and then they track us and they keep following us and they try to slip us stuff, and then it goes into like very feral people of the Appalachian Mountains, but not how you'd expect it.
This isn't out yet.
No, it drops Wednesday.
What is I know you forget a lot of them, what's your favorite video you've made?
Superstition Mountains was good.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
Superstition Mountains
was the one in Arizona.
Yeah, so apparently there's
that one real?
No, absolutely not.
God damn it!
No.
I thought you were the most interesting person I've ever
Get him
met.
out.
No. It's just writing. It's just writing and performing.
Okay.
It's but we have to research these things extensively, So we find the Superstition Mountains, which is a mountain range in Arizona where apparently there used to be a gold mine there, and people would pull gold out of the mountains and things of that nature. And then me and my friend Abdullah go there, and as a bit, we're like, hey, we're gonna kind of look for the gold mine. We're not actually looking for it. We're doing it as like a boy, like, yo, we're gonna find this shit while we're out here hiking, Like, look, that's a clue,
Yeah.
And a dude on his deathbed gave like clues to where his mine was. So it was the Dutchman. I forget his actual name, but they called him the Dutchman. It was the Dutchman's mine. And as we're going, things happen where we see like fool's gold, and we kind of start to get that greed. It's all about the entire story is about greed and how people turn on each other for money. So by the end of it, we think we saw fool's gold, and the ranger that's guiding us, or the trail guide that's guiding us, is telling us like, dude, that is pyrite, that is fool's gold, like that has no value. Please don't actually try to follow this. And it's this, we're trying to convince this guy that we're not actually looking for the gold anymore, but me and Abdullah both think like we saw the gold, we're actually going to get it.
Now you're in.
And greed overtakes us, and we're trying to convince him to keep going and keep going towards these. And then there's other supernatural things that are going on, defending the mine or things like that, where you get lost in there. At a certain point, me and Abdullah turn on each other, and then greed overtakes us, and then we eventually get out. But it's all about greed. Everything has all the stories have a theme.
Yeah, you have a clear.
Yeah, society was about morality. Society was about being a good person and being in touch with a higher power, not like praising yourself for everything that you do. Like, know that like everything you do here has consequences. And even if you don't believe in the afterlife, it has a consequence of who you are. Like, you're tainting your heart. You got to keep your heart clean. Like, your heart is like a mirror. You have to polish it.
When did you start to think about this?
That's crazy.
I tore my labrum in my hip doing jiu-jitsu, and I had surgery, and I was taken away of everything I enjoyed. And then I took like a SARM to try to, a SARM is like almost like a steroid, it's like almost like Tren. to try to build muscle back.
Don't point at me. Like, I'm not on time.
No, you said it.
Just the audience.
Similar to that, because I couldn't heal. Like my body wouldn't heal. It just had like this traumatic thing that was like, you can't do the things you love anymore. So I was taking substances to try to get back to who I was, instead of just sleeping and healing. And at the same time I was taking that, I took like an energy drink, and I had a major like anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And I thought I was having a stroke. And I was stuck in like a 6-month period of my life of like pure depression. Like I can't explain it. It was like everything was low right after this horrible anxiety attack that happened in the middle of COVID, where I can't go out and do anything or see my friends.
Yeah.
I don't have a job, so I'm just stuck at home. This thing happened. It's 4 feet of snow in Chicago. I can't go to the doctor, and every 10 minutes my heart is getting to 160 beats per second, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. So I literally, like, then those questions of morality start coming. So that's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you strike me as a guy through the writing, I guess both of you in this case, you know,
That is so amazing, man, because those are the things that I'm going through now that our YouTube channels has picked up, and we're doing some success and everything. And people say stuff like it's lonely at the top. I'm feeling that. People saying your friends start getting less close to you. A lot of my friends don't call me anymore. Like, it's weird, man. It's weird. And I feel my body is changing, preparing me for, I guess, for lack of a better word, becoming a millionaire. Yeah, and it's kind of scary, man. But I'm willing to do it because I've been dreaming about this my entire life.
You're like extremely well read, so it's interesting when you said early on in the conversation.
I feel like I'm gonna die sometimes. My heart can't take
outside
it.
with all the dudes on the Facebook mashups.
Yeah.
Like growing up.
But I feel like, and you could attest to this too, you train, fighting completely correlates with being a good person.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is like when you're surrounded by people who are capable of extreme violence.
Yes.
You immediately feel like you guys are the barrier between the innocent and the bad.
It's the idea of knowing if you had to, you could. Like I wasn't jujitsu. I was born with dislocated hips and I have 2 blown out shoulders. So I was a boxer, right? Yeah. But I trained around guys who were pros. One of my friends, like my pro was really good. And there is something there that like they're the calmest guys in the room. A lot.
Right.
Not all. Sometimes you run into a dude who's always looking for action, but they're like that because they know what they can do. And so not everything, it's almost like the training itself pulls them back to zero and everything else is zen. Yeah.
I also think growing up where I grew up,
interesting,
and just situations I've seen and things I've been around and things I've done, I wasn't positive I was a good person. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And I had to choose to be.
You had to choose
I had to choose to be a good person.
What made you think you were a bad person?
You do bad things. You never done something bad?
Like, sure, but like, but what kind of bad things?
Fighting, hurting people.
On purpose.
Being incredibly, like when you're young and you don't think of people as people. Things I've said to my parents.
Yeah.
The way I've treated people.
Yeah.
Just very selfish. Just very like dismissive, zero empathy because you're young and immature.
How did you combat that?
5 years of sobriety, showing up for communities every day. I've proven who I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do is be the good person tomorrow, you know, and forgive yourself.
Do you think some of it though is it's an averaging out? And what I mean by that is
look what he's doing, y'all.
Even today, like once in a while, you know, you might get short with someone. That's a bad thing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like
I don't know what it is, man.
We all do things that are wrong.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what it is, man. But I've been trying to make myself stop doing this. I'm trying to get these spirals, especially this headphones. Anyway, my bad. That's off the point. Let's back up.
Be the good person tomorrow, you know, and forgive yourself.
Do you think some of it though is it's an averaging out. And what I mean by that is, you know, even today, like once in a while, you know, you may get short with someone. That's a bad thing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like we all do things that are wrong.
Yeah.
But like if we are far more good or far more looking out for the right reasons for our fellow people, be it family, friends, whatever, that kind of balances.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. No, I don't think, I just don't think anybody is inherently good or bad. I feel like every man, especially men that's like capable of incredible violence, needs to be very aware of what's going on in him.
Absolutely.
Because the consequences are so much higher. So you have to really look at all the factors in your life of like, I'm the pillar of this. I could do something very bad or I could do incredible good. And you have to do it every day. And you have to polish your heart every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I this is the kind of thing that I think you don't, I mean, I'm sure some people do, but you don't really think about this when you're like 20 years old.
No.
Right?
Not.
If there's something that happens when you get past like age 25 where you start to realize like, oh, maybe you're now far enough removed from college or high school. The world is real. You got bills to pay. You know, you're succeeding or most likely more failing. And you start to then think about your place. And I always thought like, well, you know, I've only ever lived between my years. Maybe that's just like me doing that. And then I talked to more and more people over the past 5-6 years. And they'll have, like, even if they had different conversations with themselves, they'll have similar moments around a similar time where, like, you just start bringing all that in. But I will say, like, the fact that you're only 27 years old and you speak of things from the perspective with which you do, and you also have a long-term track record already of being the person you are and the worker you are and things like that. You got a great, beautiful relationship as well. That's winning in life, right?
Sure
like,
is.
that's really that's really impressive, man.
Yeah.
You should be proud of that.
It's just, I mean, I wish, I could tell we all do that. You know what I'm saying? I look around this room and I see dudes with like you have goodness in your eyes. You've chosen to be good. You too. You guys have good energy. Him too. I can't see your eyes over the computer, but I could see. Yes. You know, I think it's very important. And I think I struggled with it a lot. And I think it actually goes into the storytelling because I think of bad shit of what is the worst thing that could happen? What is the choice here that's good? Who am I giving that choice to in this time? I usually don't give myself the good choice. I let myself be the person that comes to a short, immature answer, and I give the right choice to a different character.
You or Jess?
Yeah.
Who's doing the giving there?
Yeah. It's just like there's just lessons. I mean, I guess that is the art of being a storyteller. It's like there's different perspectives to everything that happens to you, and you need to come at it with the right perspective. You know, and I'm lucky. I had good influences, like being in jiu-jitsu schools. You know it. Yeah. There's good dudes there.
Yes.
There's good men there, and I was just surrounded by it since I was 18. Where every single person that comes on the mat is the leader in their life, and I'm talking to grown men when I'm 18, and they're here, and I'm here every day, sitting on the mats after for hours, and they're telling me how to be a man. So it's just putting yourself in those situations opposed to putting yourself in bad situations. Like I didn't go to college. I went to college for 2 weeks. I had a cup of coffee and I left.
What made you leave?
I took a psychology class where
Of course you did.
I had to.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
There was like 5 options, and one of them was psychology. And the teacher said a mandatory book that we had to purchase was her book, and it was about her daughter's first period.
Come on.
And I was like, "You're quacks. I'm leaving."
That's insane.
Yeah, and then I went to and I was already right there. I was like, all right, I'm pretty much done, but I have 2 more classes for the day. Maybe the next class will go good. It was piano class. And I walked into the room and I was like, I don't see any fucking pianos. And they had us download an app on our phone.
Nah, out.
And play on here. And I'm like, okay, so that's a little silly,
Did
right?
you go to Phoenix University?
I went to Glendale Community
You went
College.
to South Harmon.
Yeah, right. Institute of Technology. That's a great
experience.
That's a sleeper.
I know.
And then I went to my next class, and it was a high school algebra class because my tests going in didn't do all my English tests. Fantastic. As you can tell.
I don't doubt that.
But math, they're like, you're high school level. And I'm like, I'm not even high school level. But I went in and I studied for 4 hours, and we had like a test, and she was like, you got a 42. And I was like, damn. That's not
that good.
That's not great. And she was like, it was 42 out of 250. And I was like, okay, yeah. I studied for 4 hours. I really tried, and I didn't do it well. And I was like, well, I think I'm done. and then I left. I never went back.
Math is one of those like crazy things where if you don't have a math mind, you're banging your head at the wall and hoping it breaks. Like there's no hope at certain points.
I did notice, and I don't have I have a hate for the school system for sure. I went to Chicago public schools. It's the worst. It's so bad. There was like 5,000 kids in my graduating class.
Holy shit!
Like every class I had like 45 to 60 kids in every class.
That's hard
insane.
It was a jungle. Yeah. It was crazy. Every single day was crazy. It was fun though.
I'm sure.
And luckily, after my sophomore year, we got a new principal, and he kicked out every bad kid of the school. So my senior year was amazing, so fun. Yeah. But it was just wild. And so I have hate for the school system in that way. But I did have a lot of really great teachers, so I don't fully hate it.
Interesting.
Yeah, like history. I noticed it was
hard to be a great teacher with 60 students sitting in front of you, age 14.
Yeah. English teachers and history teachers. Like I noticed a pattern that they're actually teaching us stuff, and they're pulling up cool shit and actually teaching us about the world.
You know why?
Why?
Because they tend to be. And it's not always this way, but my experience, they tend to be the more creative people.
Really? Yeah.
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 Storytelling. Story creating.
Yeah. And then history. I love history.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you a big history buff?
Exactly. Yeah. I can tell you are, and that's what I'm saying. History is stories.
Yeah.
Right? There's a creative endeavor to that. Technically everything's history. Something we did yesterday is history now.
Yeah.
Right? So I at least like it's funny you say that because like when I think of my best teachers over the years, there was other subjects where I had good ones too, but like consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are two classes I had some fucking good ones.
Yeah. History. Yeah. It was I always joke with her. I'm like, when I have stress dreams, it's not about the everyday life that we have. I have stress dreams that a foreign government is like coming and oppressing us, and I'm fighting our way out of it. Like I know. And you think I'm crazy. You think I'm crazy.
John's like, yeah, I was thinking about that on the way in myself.
I gotta up my dream game up, man.
Like, she'll be like,
kid.
She'll be like,
I can't take the kid out of Wayne, you know?
Yeah. He said, I gotta up my dream game. I'm like, these people, the way they speak and the way they think compared to the way I think. And it's funny, man. I can do a whole dude. I gotta watch this whole thing again. No bullshit, man. I gotta watch this whole thing again because I know y'all missing it. I know y'all missing it because if you sit down and concentrate on everything they saying, you will have no money problems. I swear to you, man. Start a YouTube channel. It's free. You don't need no money to start it. You already got a cell phone, a smartphone, or anything that can record videos and audio. Yeah.
Is like coming and oppressing us. And I'm fighting our way out of it. Like I know. And you think I'm crazy.
This is not even true. This is what's in his mind. Watch this, y'all. Watch this.
You think I'm crazy?
John's like, yeah, I was thinking about that on the way in myself.
I'm thinking about that.
I gotta up my dream game up, man.
Man. Damn, I don't think like that. I gotta start thinking deeper. God damn. Oh my God, young. This is gonna be so easy. This is gonna be like taking candy from a baby. My bad.
Like,
my bad.
With me, kid.
Fuck.
She'll be like,
can't take the kid out of Wayne, you know?
Yeah.
Jesus.
She'll be like, I had this dream about this, and it was like, like a regular bad dream of like something bad happened in her life. And I'm like, I was carrying you out of a house, and there was communists. And I swear, and I wake up and I'm like, well, I'm really happy I live in here, and then I get really happy because we get to live our life.
Right.
And then, but all like free time, it's stories and then fear of oppression.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
that's what I mean by like I'm going over scenarios in my head constantly, and even when I'm sleeping.
Did you have like experiences learning about or living under in some way? Oppression?
No, my parents were very like do whatever you want.
Right, that's how it seems.
Yeah, I don't know.
You feel oppression like on a day-to-day basis?
Feel oppression?
Fear.
Fear, yes, every day.
Really?
Bro, I think about foreign entities on a daily basis infiltrating our beautiful American way of life.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
And maybe this is just like no-brainer. Like thinking about it can't fix it even if it happens.
No, but you could be prepared.
Can you?
I don't know.
That's a fair question.
Like, that's my whole thing about, like, even conspiracy theories. You're asking yourselves questions to, like, even if you have the answer, you don't know if it's going to be ever the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, like, you're prepping for what? And look, the reality is, if America wanted to take you down as a government, your little pistol that's sitting in your cabinet is not going to save you. You know, like, I don't know what else to tell people. You know, that's sort of my thing. I think your risk to reward ratio when it comes to, like, the bunker folk.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem accurate.
You're so right. If I could leave it behind me, I would.
Right, and that's why we have, everybody has, like, irrational fears and anxieties they just can't let go of, and you wish you could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%.
it's just one of those things.
I try to not think about it. I try not to think about it. It's just something that I notice is a consistent thing in my life, and it's like I don't know why.
It's like he's like, what do you think about it? Like,
but it's actually kind of good because I'm so happy all the time.
That's right, because you're like, oh, thank God it doesn't.
Because I'm like, we live in the like horrible places exist right now.
Right.
North Korea exists right now.
It does.
And I know that this.
Didn't you just see Yingming Park in the airport?
Yeah, we just saw her and we were like, oh my gosh, that's her. Yeonmi Park. She's a North Korean defector.
Big titties.
No.
Yeah, they
Pull it up. Pull
Pull it up, baby.
She's in the airport?
we saw her. So, like, she was on Rogan. She is a defector of North Korea. She escaped North Korea. Yeah. Very tragic story. Very well spoken. She's very, very smart. And we had watched a bunch of her stuff recently because I was teaching Jess about North Korea and why she should fear it deeply in her heart.
She's like, no.
And by the end of it, by that lesson, we did it for like 8 hours straight. She looked at me. She goes, "I love America." No, what'd you say? She said, America is great. I love it here." And I was like, that's how you should feel every day.
You really should.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, foreign people know or feel that way more than we do sometimes.
Yes.
Do.
You know, the people that are like,
Pull that up, John.
the people that complain about this country are the ones that have never really been outside of this country.
That's right.
So, like, I know how you could see it. Like, maybe it's like I'm like troubled by it. I'm so happy every
You almost
day.
see it like the appreciative side of
Yes.
what you really
Yes.
That's a really good way to.
Yes, it's like I rooted in gratitude on a daily basis. I wake up from a stress stream of Nazis tearing down my windows, and I wake up and it's beautiful sunlight, a fresh cup of coffee, my girl and my dog, and we get to go work out in my basement and write stories. And I'm like, life's good.
That's a really good, because I sometimes struggle with gratitude, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'll run through the motion, like, oh, thank you for my family and my life and yada yada. But maybe because I never put myself in genuine fear of what if I was living in North Korea? You know, what if I had to worry about a bomb striking my building every day? Like, those are realities for other people.
Yeah, I tell her 1 week out of the month, I have to go into like full man mode and just listen to horrible, terrible podcasts about oppression and fear, and then I feel better after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it helps.
Give me some of these podcasts. I want to start doing that.
Oh, you just got to look it up. Just literally
Like
North Korea.
North
Yeah,
Korea.
you could look up vlogs in North Korea. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, North Korea is. I had Wally Green in here who.
So I started a conversation with my guy, and the conversation started like this. I said, look at every major country in the world. They have influence from the world. She said, that's not true. Everything in our country was done by our great leader and this and this and that. And I said, yeah, but, you know, your great leader has Western influence. Now I'm going into the yellow.
You said that?
It gets better. It gets better. So now
How'd she look at you when you said that?
she gave me this look. She says,
When he's a international professional ping pong player, and so he voluntarily went to North Korea. Like, how many years ago was that, Alessi? Like a decade ago?
Yeah.
There's video. I don't know if we can pull up the video on his YouTube. Go to Wally Green's YouTube page.
That's insane,
of him
dude.
playing ping pong. But he's such a loving guy. Like, hey, everyone, be friends. And he had a crazy childhood and a horrible childhood, and is just such a good guy. Go to Shorts. It's yeah, right there actually. But he went to North Korea and he ended up being there for like 5 days. And just the way he talks about that experience and almost not getting out of the country and how the people are just dead to the world with their expression because they don't know anything else. He's like, oh wow, they really actually don't understand how anything works because their world has just been shut off. But at the end of this, I think it was this match. Was this the one, Alessi, where he goes up and he makes sure he hugs the guy? Yeah, go to the end right there.
Right, like,
I bet they didn't like that he got hugged.
Well, the guy ended up having a huge smile. The guy wanted to pull away, and then he ended up having a huge smile.
How do you feel about beating a guy like that?
Watch. He goes and he pulls him in, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then like And then like he was like, whoa. And afterwards people were actually in the stands cheering him. They started with boo because like American, no good. And then they're like, oh wow, connection. Oh, yay.
Bro,
That's so interesting.
let me put some fear in your heart. They don't have they don't have a word. They don't have a word for me. You are not an individual there.
Yeah.
They don't have a word for love. Like I can't say, bro, I love you. They don't have that. I'm not allowed to love you. We have us as a collective.
Yeah.
And we can love our government. They don't have words to build in like individual connection.
Wow. Again, thinking out loud is like, imagine just giving one of them a compliment. How great they'd probably feel.
No, they wouldn't get it.
Yeah, but like you see that guy loved what happened there, but then he like walked away. He's like, wow, what just happened? Like,
right.
He just took a little hug.
He's like, wait, was that real? Like,
Yeah.
what was that feeling I just felt?
𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗞𝗦 Park said that when she first escaped, she wanted to go back because she couldn't handle the decision making or the individuality that came with being an American. She said, I would go back. It was so hard because the amount of bandwidth that it takes to make decisions on a daily basis, she was programmed not to do it. So she was like, if I had food, if they gave me enough food to eat every day, I'd go back.
Wow.
Because it was so overwhelming for her.
Again, there's like, they're the people that say, I don't want government involved with my life at all.
Yes.
But like, there is structure to society for a reason.
Yes.
And people telling you what to do is sometimes
That's a
good
whole
thing.
nother level.
Yes.
Though. That's like,
Oh, not saying that. But there is like a...
That's when you start thinking like that. When you start thinking like that, that's when you know you're almost there. Like, for example, I keep saying to people, I know I'm getting it, but I can't reiterate it because I can't find the correct words. What you call a country like China, dictatorship, right? United States are so busy we're not a dictatorship. We don't want to be like the government tells you exactly all the stuff you're supposed to do or whatever. So we got Democrat, Republican, all this stuff. But what if all this time they making sure we're not a dictatorship type country, and in actuality we are. We got everything. As long as we don't say what it is, we secretly got y'all doing exactly what we want y'all to do. Yeah. So I said all that to say this. You need a leader in your life. You need somebody to lead you. And once you get rid of the leaders that you know ain't leading you the right way, you start searching for better leaders. Like this guy telling stories. I like him. I never liked somebody more in my entire life because he got the answer. He got a big answer, man, that will change your life. For whatever your life is, whatever you do in your life, all you got to do is turn it into a story and you figure out the story that they want to hear. It ain't got to be the truth. Who said it got to be the truth? It could be based on you and your imagination.
A middle ground here. That's insane.
Too deep, man.
Back.
Wow.
Because it was so overwhelming for her.
Again, there's like, they're the people that say, I don't want government involved with my life at all.
Yes.
But like, there is structure to society for a reason.
Structure.
Yeah.
And people telling you what to do is sometimes
That's a
good
whole
thing.
nother level.
Sometimes
though.
good
That's
thing.
like-
Oh, not saying that. But there is like a middle ground here. That's insane that she even that was a thought process of like, I would like it better over there.
Yeah, because they make the decisions for you.
Exactly.
And that's the thing too, like growing up, if you don't know anything else, maybe they're just as happy as us. I don't, you would assume no, you know, but like, how do we really?
I don't think they know what happiness is.
No.
I think they know.
I think they know what
I
happiness
don't live in their
is.
brain, but I don't think it's possible to have a concept of that if you don't have a concept of
That's
self.
interesting, man, because right now, here in the United States, my friends and family members, the average person that I'm around, they not really happy because they want to be rich. Happiness is having the car you want that's paid off. Living in the house you want, not going to that job every day. That's happiness to us. Being able to have the same amount of money that your paycheck was after you pay all your bills, and then you got your whole paycheck to do whatever you want. happiness to us is not having to save up and not go to Starbucks or drink water, skip a couple of favorite meals you want just so you can go on vacation with your family members and buy another ticket. A family member that can't afford to go, we all got to chip in and help buy their ticket. Whereas in our mind, we wish we could just, I'm gonna buy all the tickets for everybody. I wanted to be rich where my family we have a family vacation on a boat. Yeah. And everybody, I get all the tickets for everybody. And I pay you some money for, well, I can't leave because if I leave my job, I ain't got no sick leave or no time. Well, I give you whatever your salary is, we'll double that for that 1 week so you can go. We want you there. You family. Yeah, that's, but for some reason, man.
I think they've I mean, I don't live in their brain, but I don't think it's possible to have a concept of that if you don't have a concept of self. You know, the happiness
true,
is based on a litany of factors in your life, but
that's your happiness. That's your opinion of happiness. So I guess your opinion of happiness and true happiness, I don't know, man, but they live a better life, man. Look at China. Look at they world compared to our world. You know what tripped me out, man? I'm gonna say this. I can't believe how historic buildings in our DC downtown area, there are certain buildings that they can't tear down because these are historic buildings. They old as hell. They falling apart. The AC don't work sometimes, or the heat don't work. All this shit, man. So our government has sold us on history. Our government sold us on these buildings can't be torn down no matter what. Our ancestors built this old crap, and we can fix it up and repair it, but we ain't gonna tear them down. They still working on them. Meanwhile, China is moving into the future. They got all kinds of, go search it. Look at they buildings and stuff. But we sold on this historic old time bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. And this is just my opinion. You feel me? But I know one thing. You can't tell me that they don't live a better life than we do. More technology. They're more ahead of us. We owe them money. Is that right? We owe them money, right? Go over there and see all the stuff they have. Look it up, man. Oh my God. Don't believe me. I'm just finding this stuff out.
The core of it, whether it be outward or inward, there is a basis of love to it.
Right.
And if you are in a society where you are not even recognized, therefore the other person is not even recognized as a person, as in other people around you, there is no capacity to truly feel love. You only feel fear. That's why when you hear, some of the dictators, there's famous movie lines with this, but there's famous historical lines with this, where some of these tyrannical people will say, would I rather be feared or loved? And they'll say feared. Because then they can dictate who loves, right? And that's such a fascinatingly, really treacherous part of humanity, where people can decide we're going to take that from other people, and they were born to take a shit on the earth the same way we were. Yeah, right. Not on the earth, but you know what I mean. Like we're all born the same.
Right.
Something changed.
Fuck, man. Every time I talk, well, that's going to change too. You have to, dude, it'll take you a week. It'll take me a week to break down and educate people on, would you rather be feared or loved? And the answer that that's right, first of all, you'll think it's a trick question. And the correct answer is I'd rather be loved. That's the correct answer. That's the answer God wants you that put on your heart. That's the correct answer. But this earth and this society, in order for you to get to where you want to get, you got to pick the other one. You got to. Watch this.
You know, some of the dictators, there's famous movie lines with this, but there's famous historical lines with this where some of these tyrannical people will say, would I rather be feared or loved? And they'll say feared. Because then...
You know why they say it? Because that puts them in control. If somebody fears you, they might talk all this trash. And there's a lot of people out here that chose love in their hearts. In their hearts. They may have not said it out loud, but they chose love. And because you chose love, you want everybody else around you to love. And you want that person that you fear to love you, because if he loves you, then he won't hurt you in any kind of way, because you chose love. In your heart, you chose love. So what happens is you try to get that person that you fear to love you. And that's what your job is, to try to make him love you or her love you. So would you rather be loved or feared? The correct answer is love.
And they can dictate who loves.
One more
Lines with
time.
this, but there's famous historical lines with this where some of these tyrannical people will say, would I rather be feared or loved? And they'll say feared, because then they can dictate who.
In order to understand, this fully, you got to look that word up. I don't even know what that word means. You got to look that word up. Watch this.
There's famous movie lines with this, but there's famous historical lines with this where some of these tyrannical people will say, would I rather...
Tyrannical people. Some of these tyrannical people. What is a tyrannical people? See, most people who watching this, most people who are into this type of stuff, don't even know what that word is. I don't know what it means. But it sounds like it's tyrannical people, like crazy people, people that are... You got to find out what the word means so you can really get a full definition of what's going on here.
To be feared or loved, and they'll say...
So they are the ones asking that question, would you rather be feared or loved? And these people that ask this question probably asking somebody that's already looking to get in, looking to learn from these people, or whatever the case may be, and they about to give them a education of this fear and love thing and why it works this way. Yeah.
They feared, because then they can dictate who loves. Right? And
Here we go.
that's such a fascinatingly
Deep, man. That's too deep for you.
really treacherous part of humanity where people can decide we're going to take that from other people. And they were born to take a shit on the earth the same way we were.
Right.
You know, not on the earth, but you know what I mean? Like we're all born the same, but something changes based on where we're born and the opportunities we get from that.
So interesting.
And I think another reason I'm very interested in this stuff is because you get to see pure evil, right? You get to see complete power and how it manifests and the things that they do to control and the things that they do to manipulate people. And usually bad people are manipulating people, right? To do bad things. Like we do one about like a cult leader, right? How does the cult leader operate? He operates the exact same way a communist leader operates. He takes away individualism. He teaches you, he gives you a false idol, which is him.
That's right.
Right? And then there's certain rules that take away choices. And you see everything evil all has the same guidelines, and it all is just pulling you away from the same thing. And it's just very, I don't know, it helps me with writing because we get to add details about really powerful historical leaders that did horrible things to a small guy who's like a cult leader in the Appalachian Mountains. And he's operating the exact same way as like an early Stalin or early Hitler did. Yeah. And the people, they don't know that. But when you get to describe the way that he's going about something and the way that he's manipulating his people, and they don't know the historical base of it, but it adds so much more, it's so much heavier. Because even though you don't know where it's coming from, you can see how that would work.
Right.
You feel me?
It almost makes it easier to understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever seen this channel? The BioLi?
No.
So this is my boy Jamal. We just had him here, actually. And that was, you want to talk about doing the right thing with stuff? Where, you pay it forward with people. When I had the high school kid, George, in here, who's fucking awesome. He does this podcast, just reaches out to these people around the world. And like sometimes they hop on. He had this guy on his podcast before he ever showed his face on YouTube. He just started showing his face. It was always a faceless channel. And so we're in here talking about it I had George come here to record his podcast where I was a guest. And he brought this up. I'm like, I want to get this guy in here.
This is a great idea.
And he fucking got him here. And so Jamal was here for a couple days. He is such a fucking interesting guy, but he has made videos where he's going to do some history, some real history now too, but it's always been he breaks down the psychological evil of pop culture villains.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, side note here, some of the style of his channel, I want you to look at too for like the B-roll. He's a genius with B-roll.
Okay.
And like if you had some of the stuff he does, your subs are going to like quadruple overnight, like for sure.
Yeah.
But like the way that he delves into how these people think, like we're talking about fake people, but they're created from the minds of real people, which means there's an existence of these traits in the world.
So cool.
Dude, John, they're addictive.
I want to watch the Tony Soprano one. You know what's interesting? I mean,
Addictive.
Yeah, I could see why. Everybody that we've pulled up that has like a popular video is from like 3 years ago. I've yet to see, even like when I do my own research, so like YouTube channels, I haven't seen anybody that's like blowing up now, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's more spread out because there's more creators too. You know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like nowadays, the landscape is there's so many people in it. Who do you know now that's like they're taking off at this moment? I don't.
Well, a part of it's also the name of the game being consistency, right?
Yeah,
So
I
if
guess
you're
you're right.
he's putting out his videos are doing good views every time he puts it out, right?
I saw that.
So he's getting better and better at it. He's going to expand what he does, and then you'll be pulling this up a year from now, and suddenly the top 3 videos will be from the last 3 months. That's just kind of how it goes.
It's interesting, and I'm again analyzing from this perspective. Like you see his top 8, 3 of them are shorter, and then
he doesn't
4 of
have
them,
a length. He doesn't
4 of
have
them
a
are
length
shorter.
thing.
But then the other ones he makes are no. But if you saw those recent ones, he's making them like a little bit longer.
This guy will sit down. He takes fan requests, right? So it's not like he's seen everything.
Yeah.
If someone requests a TV character, it is a requirement he has for himself. He will sit down and watch the entire series.
Really?
Sometimes like 1.5 times because he's got to go back to take some new notes.
Yeah,
But, like,
Where does he find the time?
he's a savage, dude. He's so smart and he's so locked in on what he does and like he knows what he wants in life. And he's also very, and you'll hear this on the podcast when we put it out. It's a really fun podcast, but he's very aware of his own flaws and his own psychological consequences of his upbringing. He is one of the most self-aware people I've ever met. Almost to a fault where like he said a couple things like when we were going to dinner afterwards where I'm like, I actually think you're being too hard on yourself. I think you're wrong about that.
Right.
But he's just he's in his head all the time because he's in these people's heads.
Yikes.
It's crazy.
Scary.
That's
I
fucking
feel
nuts.
that go like the acting stuff where somebody like plays a villainous guy.
Yeah.
I've acted one time. I was in a short film that my aunt produced, and it was like it was in film
Sons of
festivals.
Anarchy, Ant?
Yes. Yeah. So it was a pretty big production. It was cool, but I was like 19, so I didn't really understand the weight of it. But it like kind of it was a, I don't know how to explain it. It was like it made me understand actors and how you have to be in that scene as hard as you can, and it's so physically draining. And I always say like if I did acting again, I would want to play an evil character. I think it would be sick.
Depends how often you're doing it.
I wouldn't want to do it often. I don't want to act often either. I don't particularly want to act. But it just seems cool to do like a piece of work that stays. It's like movies don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
YouTube videos, I do in a year I'll have 40 uploads that just like bury this video. But if you do a movie,
Godfather's the Godfather, bro.
Right.
Exactly.
Forever and ever.
yeah.
Our kids will know about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the great actors, and we always make fun of actors with some of their nuttiness and stuff, and some of that's fair. But like, there's something that goes into you being able to do that thing, tap in that thing. You gotta be a little different.
Yeah.
Right.
Like John Bernthal.
Right.
He's sweet.
Love
You like
John.
No.
John's
Love
so
John.
cool.
I want to get John on the show. He's buddies with Ryan Tate. But
shit.
there's something different that goes into that. And you see a lot of these, even with some of the villain stuff, a lot of these guys are pure method actors, and it can drive them nuts. I mean, to this day, I'm fairly
Should I go
certain that's
back?
what killed Heath
Hold up,
Ledger.
y'all.
Yeah.
Because he went full method.
I'm not digging in my nose, but the side of my nose itch. Hold up, y'all. I'm sorry, man, but this is too important. I gotta back up.
Better at it. He's going to expand what he does. And then,
Wait a minute.
you'll be pulling this up a year from now, and suddenly the top 3 videos will be from the last 3 months. That's just kind of how it goes.
It's interesting, and I'm again analyzing from this perspective. Like you see his top 8, 3 of them are short.
Okay.
And like if you had some of the stuff he does,
Okay.
Wait a
out
minute.
here history now too, but it's always been he breaks down the site. He is George come here to record his podcast before he ever showed his face. the high school kid, George, in here, who's fucking awesome. He does his podcast, just
trying
reaches
to-
out to these people
Fuck,
around the
man.
world. And like sometimes they hop on. He had this guy on his podcast before he ever showed his face on YouTube. He just started showing his face. It was always a faceless channel. And so we're in here talking about it I had George come here to record his podcast where I was a guest. And he brought this up. I'm like, I want to get this guy in here.
This is a great idea.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to find this channel. I gotta find this channel, man.
He's going about something in the way that he's manipulating his people, and they don't know the historical base of it, but it adds so much more. It's so much
I gotta
heavier
find this channel.
because even though you don't know where it's coming from, you can see how that would work.
Right.
You feel me?
It also
Studying.
makes it easier to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever seen this channel? No. BioLi?
No.
So this is my boy Jamal.
what?
We just had him here, actually.
man.
And that was, you want to talk about
Fuck. Damn it. I can't even understand what he said. You ever see this guy? Shit. Oh, man. Y'all let me know in the description. Fuck, man. Shit. I bet you any amount of money. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Let me hit pause.
head all the time
Yeah.
because
I
he's
can't
in these
find
people's
it.
heads.
Yikes.
It's crazy.
Damn.
That's
I
fucking
feel
nuts.
that go like the acting stuff where somebody like plays a villainous
Can't find
guy.
it.
Yeah.
I've acted one time. I was in a short film that my aunt produced, and it was like it was in film
Sons of
festivals.
Anarchy, Ant?
Yes. Yeah. So it was a pretty big production. It was cool, but I was like 19, so I didn't really understand the weight of it. But it like kind of it was I don't know how to explain it. It was like it made me understand actors and how you have to be in that scene as hard as you can, and it's so physically draining. And I always say, like, if I did acting again, I would want to play an evil character. I think it would be sick.
Depends
but it's-
how often you're doing it.
I wouldn't want to do it often. I don't want to act often either. I don't particularly want to act. But it just seems cool to do like a piece of work that stays. It's like movies don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
YouTube videos, I do in a year. I'll have 40 uploads that just like
Right.
bury this video. But if you do a movie,
Godfather's the Godfather, bro.
Right.
Exactly.
Forever and ever.
yeah,
Our kids will know about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the great actors, and we always make fun of actors with some of their nuttiness and stuff, and some of that's fair. But like, there's something that goes into you being able to do that thing, tap into that thing. You gotta be a little different.
yeah,
right.
like John Bernthal.
Yeah.
He's sweet.
Love
You
John.
John.
No.
John's so
Love John.
cool.
I want to get John on the show. He's buddies with Ryan Tate. But yeah, there's something different that goes into that. And you see a lot of these, even with some of the villain stuff, a lot of these guys are pure method actors, and it
Yeah.
can drive them nuts. I mean, to this day, I'm fairly certain that's what killed Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Because he went full method into the Joker. He became that guy. I mean, that's why I didn't want to, like, when I thought about being an actor in college pretty seriously, that's why I didn't want to do it. Because I felt like I was telling you this the other day, Leslie, but I felt like when I was in college, I finally, in the last few years, come into my own where I felt comfortable just being myself. And it was such an addictive feeling. And then the idea of having to pretend to be other people for the next 40, 50 years of my life.
Yeah.
And the method and the things I studied that would go into that, I'm like, there's no way that'd be good for me. There's no way that, like, I thought I'd be dead.
Yeah,
There's just there's a different element that goes into things like that.
yeah,
For sure.
I don't like the lifestyle of it. I'm really big on routine. I like routine. I like having space to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I feel like acting, I know it's hurry up and wait. I don't like that. Like why? Like I know the lines. Let's shoot. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like we write one time, then we go record and we put it out and we move
Which
on.
is such a good feeling, man.
Right, right,
I get to do
right.
what I want. I get to sleep when I want, and then we work really hard. I work 12 hours in a row, but then I work at my pace.
So when you guys are sitting there writing, like you were talking about this a little bit earlier, but we got off it. So you said you wake up when you want, you fucking, whenever you wake up, you go work out. Do you get right in and do you start writing, or do you have like an order to the day where, we're going to film something first today?
Depends what we finished last night. As far
Totally depends.
Totally depends. It's if we have content that we are ready to record, we'll do that right after we work out. I'll drink a protein shake. I'll sit down. I'll go. If we don't have anything, then we don't have any concepts, we'll take the day off and we'll go watch stuff and get inspiration.
And and Jess is off mic right now, but when you were talking about this too, I think when you're doing the recording, Jess, are you still writing it down there? You can come up to Leslie's mic right here. So we got you. Sorry.
All right.
We had a full studio today. Are you doing like the writing while he's doing it, or are you helping him act it out? How does that usually go? Like when he's actually recording?
I help him act it out. We write everything before, so there's no writing going on during.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
was
may,
hoping she'd get
because
on the
your
mic.
tonality is so like well done, and it doesn't switch in and out lines. So you're keeping him balanced on that. Like, okay, he just had a reaction line, so I need to get that out of him to get the next line to sound similar to that. Does that make sense?
No, I would say she does more continuity during the writing process, and then she does what Alessi does. She produces.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. And then once it's done, it's just like, we kind of know, like, because I'm writing in my voice, so I know the parts. Because not only do we write it in my words, I lay down on the floor and she types it, and I speak out loud.
Why do you lay on the floor?
Because my back hurts if I sit too long.
Okay. I don't know if there was like a psychological
John's the
reason.
most comfortable man in America.
Oh,
anywhere
yeah,
he
no,
goes. His back never hurts.
I'm always slouching.
Yeah, literally, it's like I want to train tomorrow, so I don't want my back to hurt. And then sometimes it's so stressful because like if you think about it, it's a 25-page story, and that is daunting when you're on page 2.
How long is for you at your speed? 25 pages. How long is that video on YouTube? An hour.
An hour. Yeah, 17 is about 45.
That's a lot of reading out loud. Now, reading it in your mind, of course, you do that, but like out loud.
Yeah.
But like when you're laying on the ground though, like are you still like are you down here like I'm laying on the ground and I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, so this. Are you still like, so then I took him into the superstitious bounce and then he got fucked up over there. And then what? Or is it like you turn off a little bit?
It's a little bit more calm, but I'm saying the lines in a way that it's just everything's turned down 50%.
Wait,
So I
this
know
is the prep, the filming.
Yeah, because I don't want to just sit and write, because writing doesn't come out the same way your voice
Right,
comes
so
out.
she's literally word for word whatever you just said.
Exactly.
Because you can't do them at the same time.
So I could say the tonality, and even sometimes I notice that something's a bit too much of a tongue twister. I'd be able to write it out fine, but I can't say it.
You can't say it right.
So we're like, all right, let's change this, because so I get to say it one time. I'm like, that works. And when you say something out loud, you feel it a little.
So, well, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. Like, so when he just paused, when you say something aloud, will you put like ... and then you feel a little bit when you type it out for him?
Sometimes, or I'll just space.
Just
and
like
then start a new thought.
Okay, so he kind of knows where to pause, and that's interesting.
Because she's operating where she could relate to me as best as she can. So I let her map it out the way that her mind works, like the way she organizes it. I'm not gonna be like, hey, make the document how I organize it.
No, of course
make the document how you do. So I say it, she organizes it properly, she delivers it, and then I put the spice on it.
What a cool way to work. What made you think of doing that?
The pressure cooker that Stairs story did on TikTok. We had to drop a 4-minute video of a narrative that we didn't know where the story was going every single night.
That's amazing. That you didn't know
And
where
did you
it's going.
volunteer, like, hey, I'll type out what you're saying to make things easier, or you asked her?
My body was falling apart from editing for so long.
Right.
So I was like, my body hurts. And I was just started laying on the ground, and it was 12-hour days. And at the time we didn't have the studio in our basement. Right. We lived in one bedroom in my parents' house, and we had to weave our way through a big active house and then get to this studio that's not in a good neighborhood, slip into the front door so nobody sees us go in. And then we're in this studio where we have to, when we order food, it's an issue because we can't see anybody, like nobody could see in when we reach out. Like,
God damn.
It's just like, it was this pressure cooker where we didn't have much time to get this done. And we had to figure out where the story was going, what the cliffhanger was. And everybody's incredible. Like, please tell us, like, we need the next part. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know.
This is a lot, man.
Yeah.
This is a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I told John this was going to be like,
I'm
low-key fun
stressed out,
podcast.
dude. Holy shit.
And we did
John's going home going, Dad, you're fired.
Yeah, I need somebody else. We need to be doing more shit. I don't know what it is, but we need to do more. So you're telling the story twice. One time for her to write it down, and the second time. Wow.
Yeah, all in one day. So like at that time,
and you can work it out.
Now we finish it ahead of time. Luckily, because and mind you, we were poor. I'm talking poor. We didn't have, all my money went to the studio rent. So it's not like, and I was still working. You know, like at that time I had just finally quit. But so we actually had every day to do it. But we didn't have, it's not like we're like, oh, the convenience of spending a lot of money on food here, the convenience of just like getting an Uber here. It's like we are in the situation where something is popping off. We're not getting paid for it until next month. We haven't made any money yet. Yeah. And we have 5 million people demanding the next thing. And we have about 8 hours to do it. And we have to do it and drag it out as long as we can, because it's all about attention. Like, how can we get to a million so our life changes? So it was this absolute pressure cooker of where nothing in life was going how we wanted it to yet. And we had the opportunity to change it in a month. and we locked in and we did it.
But you're also doing it with original shit. And what I mean by that is similar to what we talked about maybe like an hour ago. There are people who just have to follow trends. And then there are people who make a fucking drink with their dad and say, "Ooh, this is fun." There are people who are like, "Ooh, I'm going to make up a story that is wild, that unleashes all my creativity," and it's different. I've never seen a page called Story Boy or something like that. Like that's totally original to me, right? And then people gravitate towards that. So the irony is that in this world where we're all playing catch up with everyone, going, "What are they doing? So we can do it too." When you are original and you actually have value behind that originality, you can win.
Yeah, and it's also being prepared for the opportunity, right? So I didn't know that this story thing was going to happen. We had no idea that like what route we were going down. I just knew how to edit. I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to build a production set. I put all of my extra money into a studio space kind of near my house and threw shit at the wall until somebody said, "Can you do that again for me?" Yeah. And then I was prepared to do it every single day because I had every skill to actually make it happen. I didn't need to outsource to an editor and he's like, "Hey, that's coming in 2 days." I didn't need to outsource to somebody for the design. I do all my graphic designing. I do all my editing up until recently. Awesome. So I was prepared. I just spent years learning for the opportunity. And then when the opportunity came, we had the skills and I had the support from my lovely girlfriend to help me through that process to now we have a base and we actually have income and we have a career here.
That is amazing. This is what I teach in my YouTube course. To do whatever you want until you figure it out, while I'm teaching you editing, while I'm teaching you story writing, format. You need a format. You need a beginning, an intro. You need an intro, a beginning of your story, a middle, then you got the third scene, the turnaround. And then you got the end of your story, and then you have a closing on your video channel. Yeah.
Opportunity came, we had the skills, and I had the support from my lovely girlfriend to help me through that process.
Support is important. That is very important. You have to have someone, any human being that believe in this thing just as much as you do. You need that support. That's facts. If you're doing it all by yourself and you don't have not one person on your team, in today's world, you will fail, guaranteed. Once you get that one person on your team that believe just as much as you do, Lord have mercy, man, you are ready to roll. Then you're going to get another person and another person. But all you need is the one. It don't have to be a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife. It don't even have to be a mother or father. It can be a friend or somebody you don't even know on the other side of the world. Ain't that right to hear? Yeah, so watch this.
Outsource to an editor and he's like, "Hey, that's coming in 2 days." I didn't need to outsource to somebody for the design.
Don't need to outsource.
I do all my graphic designing. I do all my editing.
I do everything.
Recently. So I was prepared. I just spent years learning for the opportunity. And then when the opportunity came, we had the skills and I had the support from my lovely girlfriend to help.
4 years. I had years of training. I had years of training on how to put this system together. A system. When you go to McDonald's, the fry station is always on the left. A system. They cook the food in the back. People up front, man, take your order. They turn around, the food is right there. It's a system. Everything, every store, every Amazon, everything is built on a system. All you got to do is put a system together to shoot your videos and everything. And next thing you know, you are successful.
So I was prepared. I just spent years learning for the opportunity. And then when the opportunity came, we had the skills and I had the support from my lovely girlfriend to help me through that process to now we have a base and we actually have income and we have a career here. But it all came from literally 5 years of teaching myself everything for that 1 month. And I knew in that 1 month, we're not doing anything else. We're living and breathing this. And then after that, everything changed.
I'd asked you earlier about your influences, and you talked about how it was really, like you said, you were just playing sports and stuff growing up. But like now that you've been doing this stuff for a while, and it does seem like you've talked about other social media people, so you're looking around to see what people do. Is there anyone in the film space or the writing space or whatever space who, you know, you look at like, oh wow, they're doing great work from like a storytelling perspective?
We didn't know about this. We didn't know about this guy, but now we do. Because also, mind you, like I was talking about how I polish my heart every day. I didn't watch horror movies. I didn't watch other than like history stuff. I didn't listen to music. I wouldn't listen to bad music. I wouldn't listen to anything that like put badness.
You wouldn't listen to music or bad music?
Like music that is like pushing bad things into you, like
rap and
certain types. I'll listen to some
Like
rap, but it would
rap.
have to be from like a perspective of like.
Why you go right there? He said like the push bad things into you. You mean like rap? Yeah. Nah, homie. Nah, like Charleston White. That's my man right there. Facts. Big time facts. Don't like his delivery, but Charleston White dropped mad facts, baby.
Listen to music or bad music?
Like music that is like pushing bad things into you, like
rap and
certain types. I would listen to some rap, but it would have to be from like a perspective of like there's a good
Christian
message
rap.
in here. Right. I wouldn't watch horror movies. I wouldn't take in anything that was like bad for me, right? Bad for
went
like
to
my
rap.
perspective on
Like
the
as
world.
a kid? Or like, are we talking more adult?
Last 10 years.
Okay.
Last 10 years. So I wouldn't watch like scary, spooky YouTube videos. I just happened to tell, and it is like, now I'm in like the spooky niche, but it started with just like stuff that happened to me. So I was just telling my experiences of life. And then you get into this thing that we're like, oh, we'll do something like this. So I'm like, okay, maybe we watch something a little bit spooky. So I had no idea who was in this niche. And it turns out there's this one guy named Mr. Ballin. And
Oh yeah. No, well.
and everybody said, like, we get comments now because we're like doing better. They're saying like, you're copying Mr. Ballin.
Nah, I didn't think
who's
that
Mr.
at all.
Ballin?
He's a big storyteller. He tells missing 411 stories. He tells other people's stories. He's really, really good. He does a green screen.
He's Amazon exclusive now for his podcast,
Yes.
I think, right? So some of it's walled garden, but then he still has the full page on YouTube.
Yeah. And he's massive. And he blew up during COVID, so he blew up crazy, right?
Former Navy SEAL too.
Yeah.
People always love that.
So
Wow, he's killing it.
crushing.
Holy shit.
So now if you look at my thumbnails, you'll definitely see some inspiration from him.
Inspiration's fine.
I didn't
Right.
know who he was until well after the Stairs story. Because people were saying, you remind me, you look like a young Mr. Ballin. You remind me of Mr. Ballin and all this stuff. And I found him, and like during the time when we were grinding, I didn't have time to look people up. We were just trying to write stuff and do
understand
the
that.
next thing.
Yeah.
And then when
got
we
that
finally
right.
looked at him, I was like, oh, this guy's legit. This guy's good. And then you could see the psychology of the thumbnails. Obviously, if something works, use it, right?
His thumbnail isn't great though. Like I can't even read. Those bottom
You
two
know
ones.
what? I've always thought the same thing, John, but he was around early enough that the sizing of who he is, people got used to it, and they are already looking for the expression, and it allows the image that he's doing to breathe. I've thought about this a lot because it's a fair point. It's like today, if you were launching a channel today, I would not recommend to do it
Correct.
that way.
Yeah.
But I'm jealous because I like that better. I would love it if none of our faces had to be in the pictures. We could just do the picture like Violi does. But yeah, that's why it works.
So once we looked at him, I was like, oh, I see the similarities. And then you see how he operates his YouTube, and you're like, okay, he did something like this, and then he found this formula for YouTube. And we were searching for inspiration of how are we going to run our YouTube channel? Because I did a basic podcast attached to my stuff too. I would tell one story on top of a podcast, and then they're like, we only want stories. So I was like, oh, okay, so I have to completely rebrand my stuff. And this was a person, once I checked him out, I was like, oh, so this is someone has already plowed this road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He's murdering it.
but I wouldn't say I have, we get it. Like, I don't have any inspiration from him as far as like creatively, really. Just as far as like his business side gives me a lot of inspiration. But as far as like the actual content itself, not much.
But it's a good thing though. Like you're supposed to rinse and repeat things that work. You know what I mean? Like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, if a system works, use it, you know?
Are you, now that I wish I never went to this party, which apparently you never did.
Yeah.
No, that's blowing up. I was thinking about this. It's probably blowing up a little bit right now because people are out there looking for stories on this Diddy thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you looked at this lawsuit?
A little bit.
Who's suing who?
I love that you're here. This is awesome.
I'm only speaking for the people that, I'm playing a game.
Diddy, obviously, P. Diddy. He's...
Here we go, y'all.
There's a guy, long before I ever did this, there's a guy who I got a chance to know pretty well through my uncle, who's like, you wouldn't know who he was, but there's a reason for that. But he's easily like the most important person I've ever had a chance to know. Very nice guy, always gave me the time of day when I had nothing to offer him, which I really appreciate. But he had told me point blank years ago, not what's in the lawsuit, but
this is what's going on.
Like, there's some shit like when you get invited around him, don't go. But this lawsuit comes out a couple, like 3, 4, 5 months ago, whatever it was, sometimes maybe like the end of 2023. This lawsuit comes out from, I think it was a singer, Cassie, or whatever, who claimed that there was a ton of shit in there, but she claimed that, P. Diddy was abusive towards her. You can do the math on all that stuff. Had claims about his sexuality and things like that. As it pertains to abuse across sexes, like he's just like a nymphomaniac, doesn't care. And then these newer lawsuits are coming out, and they're not being covered in the media very much. But essentially, Diddy was running the music industry's version of an Epstein operation, but I won't give him as much credit for being like as sadistically smart as Epstein. P. Diddy is a fucking moron. But it's very sketchy, and it was always sketchy to me, that a guy who was essentially just a regular old New York gangster, like young, 2-bit, whatever, suddenly got control of Bad Boy Records and immediately made it the biggest record label in hip-hop overnight when he's like 24 years old, signs Notorious B.I.G., and he's a moron. I mean, the guy is a stone-cold moron.
You're saying something's up.
Something's up. And when I would always look and I'd see, sometimes they'll do like, I guess the more public parties, the ones that aren't in this lawsuit, they do like, the montage videos on social media. And I'd see they are sick. Yeah. I'd see all these people showing up, and I know some of those people. I'm like, there's no way they fuck with him. I'm like, why are they going? But essentially, I'm really truncating it right now, but he had thousands of cameras. There were cameras on everything in every room, just like Epstein. There was blackmail. There are trails to other label executives and stuff like that could lead to some espionage stuff. I don't know. Like, that's not really clear, but they are pushing this fucking thing under the rug about a guy who's been talked about in the industry as fucking crazy. So to pull it back to what you did, like you did this beautiful, like Dante's, I don't know if beautiful is the word, but this like imagery of like Dante's Inferno with this crazy, like eyes wide shut party and whatever. And I'd like to think that a lot of this stuff is just conspiracy brain, internet getting out of control. And I think a lot is. But that, like, 5%, that's real.
Did you get to the end?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we put into the end is, so there was this one YouTube video that I found like 10 years ago called Military Wife Tells All. Have you seen that?
I have seen that. Yeah.
It had like
𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦 was pulling that up, I think.
It had like 10,000 views on it when I found it. And the details of that, how she goes about saying how they mess with people, was so specific and so freaky. And it's basically like, imagine you pissed off the wrong guy. Yeah. And you go home and you go to turn on your TV and your remote doesn't work. And you pop open your remote and the batteries are switched from positive to negative. And you're like, what the fuck? And you come home the next day and they're like that again. How do you tell somebody that? How do you tell somebody my batteries keep getting switched?
Because you're crazy if you do.
Yeah.
You go and run any errand, you go back to your car and your blinker is hit down to like left turn. And every time you go in, your blinker is down.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. Where only you would notice, where if you told somebody that like somebody's following me, they're flipping my batteries, they're putting my blinker down, but realistically somebody broke into your house multiple times and broke into your car multiple times. How do you tell somebody that without them thinking you're schizophrenic?
That's right. It's such they know they can use that.
And you know what's so funny is I posted that as a reel, and that specific part of me like telling that part of the story, they all say like, this is clear paranoid schizophrenia. Hundreds of thousands of comments. You are schizophrenic. Get some cameras.
Damn.
That's right. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we would think
I gotta
like
watch
in the
this
camera
again.
world now it's impossible to miss some of this stuff, but like it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, Epstein killed himself off camera like a mile from here.
Diddy?
You know, yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the cameras didn't work. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always a way. Like powerful people can find a way to push some stuff over. But I'd like to see you re-explore that with your imagination, I guess.
Wow.
We try so hard to put very real stuff, and like, because that thing of somebody flipping my batteries scares the shit out of me. That would scare me. So that's what we use. You know, like finding a staircase in the woods that is pristine and untouched, and we're in the middle of nowhere. That would scare me.
Oh yeah.
The little things. That's the type of stuff we do. Like a sleep paralysis demon is that one. I still don't know if I was dreaming. That one's about a sleep paralysis demon that you couldn't tell if it was a demon following us or a traumatized kid that lived in his childhood home that was actually a nun's house, and you can't tell if it was him or the demon at the end. But he said that he knew who the demon was. He's like, that's just giggles. He likes you. He's fond of you. But then the kid crawls back into the crawl space at the end, and we're like, was it him or the demon?
You don't know.
You feel me? So we try to do those, like where it's like that would scare the shit out of me. And actually, the house that story's based on is a house that I lived in Chicago. That was an old nun's house. When we first moved to Chicago, it was like that. And it was,
all right, there's some truth there.
Everything has a base of truth.
Has a base of truth.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Dougie, this has been awesome, man.
This has been sweet.
You're doing a great job with your channel. You and Chess doing a great job.
There you go.
With your channel. Really enjoyed this conversation. We're going to put the links to your YouTube, your TikTok, your Instagram, all down below. But I'm wishing you all the best, man. Like, I know this is really going to keep going.
I appreciate that.
You clearly have the mindset, and you got the creativity too. Like, that's the battle right there.
You guys are fantastic at what you do.
Oh, thank you.
This is super impressive. This is the first collaboration I've ever done with anybody. I'm so impressed. You guys are really great guys. This is like everything I wanted a collaboration with other creators to be. You guys are really high level, and I appreciate you guys letting us
Love to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I think we gotta spread the wealth and everything. You know what I mean? That's what the community's for. So thank you guys for coming out so much.
Of course.
This was awesome. But everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Before you leave, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. It's a huge help. And also, if you're over on Instagram, be sure to follow the show at Julie.
Wait a minute. Wow, man. This dude, I just wanted to see that last video right there. This is enough. This enough. I'm gonna let y'all know now, with 5 to 6 years of pushing my YouTube channel, if you've been doing YouTube for at least two years, you have the experience to understand this video. Once you understand it and you done bought a course, you done pushed your videos and stuff or whatever the case may be, you need to go over to the Music Recording Network Live. We live every day. Get in touch with me, because I'm going to let you know, man, we about to change some people's lives, because I'm understanding what makes people click on your videos. The thumbnail got to be good. Okay, we know that. But once you get them there, how do you keep them there? And that's what this is all about. How do you get the engagement and the people to leave comments and stuff? That's what this video is all about. This video, once you have the experience, once you have the YouTube courses, it's almost like I graduated from college. Here's my certificate. I got my certificate, right? I done bought this book, the 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 book. Yeah, this ain't. But once you get your certificate and then you get a job, now you're talking about on-the-job experience. So you can actually create your YouTube channel around you and around what you're capable of doing. Now, if you have to, look, I'm all thumbs when it comes down to computering and editing and all this type of stuff. I don't see how somebody can be all thumbs. I can show you how to edit your videos and everything so you can have complete control. Sending out your videos to get them edited, that can work also. But now they in control, and you just like, yeah, I like what you did, man. Can you just? But y'all can work it out as a team. Whatever system that you need to put together for you, that's on you. That's on you. So, these guys are doing everything in-house. we doing everything ourselves in-house. I think that's a better way to go. But if you have no one and you have to pay somebody, I know one channel that's doing very good, and he pays like $1,200 a month for somebody to edit all their videos. He's just the editor. Here's your monthly income, you know. So he's at a level now that's a decent amount out of his budget, you know, of how much money he's making every month. That's an expense, you know. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this video 1 and 2 is the most important video that I have ever watched. That's going to help me move up, get to the next level. Does that make sense? So I will be watching my own reaction to this video probably for the rest of my life. That's how important this video is. Look here. If you trying to do a YouTube channel, man, you watch this video again, and it might still go over your head. But once you do a course, once you start getting into it, once you really understand all the elements of YouTubing, then come back and watch this. It's an hour, it's 2.5 hours schooling. 2.5 hours schooling. Yeah. I'm going to get on up out of here, man. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.